Well, hello, everyone. My name's John Paul, AAA's Car Doctor, and this is another edition of AAA Conversations with, and it's Car Conversations. And with us is Gunther Beurman. He is the founder of the Newport Car Museum. Gunther, good day, and welcome to AAA Car Conversations.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And is founder the right word of as far as what you are at the Newport Car Museum?
Well, yeah, clearly my wife and I founded the museum, but now we're chief cooks and bottle washers, and we spend a lot of time here making sure that people enjoy themselves as they go through the museum, and that the toilets are appropriately clean.
And the museum collection now is it over 70 cars?
Yeah, almost 80 cars in 6 separate galleries. We have a muscle car gallery, and we have a Mopar gallery, the Chrysler products, and we have a Fin car gallery that's a trip through the 50s and 60s, the nostalgia of the big Fin cars and the huge cars that came out of the jet age that produced the fins on cars. And then we have a world car, which has everything from Lamborghinis to Porsches to Mercedes to Jaguars, and many of the makes that don't come from the United States, but are certainly works of art like many of the other cars. And then we have the Corvette Gallery, which has every Corvette from the C1 through the C7. We have a C8 on order, the new mid-engine car. So you can, we have a lot of Corvette clubs that come here and bask in the history of that, the American sports car brand. And then we have Shelby Ford, including lots of Shelby Mustangs and two real Cobras and the new Ford GT and an iconic movie car that was in Fast and Furious, the GT40 that was in that movie. So it's a wide variety of cars. We try to stay current. All the cars are on platforms so you can get close. There's no ropes, no velvet ropes, or the cars aren't lined up with big signs in front, so you can't get close to them. And we have over 70,000 square feet. So in these challenging times, you can socially distance. We require masks when you come in the museum, but there's plenty of room between the cars, the way they're laid out on separate platforms to socially distance, but still get very, very close to the cars and take pictures and check the artwork and the mid-century modern furniture that we have. It's a wonderful experience, and we're finding actually in these challenging times that people want to get out and do something. And so our September was actually a little bit better than last year's September.
Wow.
We've been open since June, and we're trying to provide some place for people to go, and especially we've seen a lot of children who are challenged to go to school these days, and they come in for a little car education from us.
Well, you're looking at the new education. It tends to be that STEM or STEAM related, and like you pointed out, with STEAM adds the art aspect to engineering, and the cars you have truly are works of art. And interesting about your museum, different than some others, your cars tend to, where some museums might have brass era cars. Well, there's only a certain group of people that maybe can really appreciate a brass era car. Your cars are going from, somebody maybe perhaps my age that kind of lusted after cars. Some of those muscle cars of the '60s. You have a full complement to those, but also for some younger viewers who are coming in and seeing you're sitting kind of in front of your hybrid gallery, I think.
Right.
And there's the BMW i8 in there, and some fantastic cars that maybe would appeal to somebody who was a little bit younger too.
Oh, absolutely. We try to stay current. I worry about many of the car museums closing because they, um, for one reason or another, they've specialized in say pre-war cars or the brass era cars, et cetera. And we try to provide a much uh, broader selection, like you indicate, that brings the kids and still brings the seniors. We started in 1954 with a 54 Corvette, the second year of the Corvette, and the the Kaiser Darren, which is that unique car with the
Yep.
doors into the front fenders and stuff. But then, we go all the way up to 2020. We've got a number of cars that we're going to put in the museum, all 2019s and 20s, that we didn't do because of COVID and people.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a little tone deaf to put them in, and when the museum was closed. So we're going to put those in. We have 7 or 8 brand new cars that are going in. We're going to have a sort of a complete Porsche Speedster collection
Wow.
from 1957 to 2019. I've actually been driving one of the 2019 Speedsters, and I've driven a lot of these cars that are in the museum, and I've never had as much fun as driving that car. It's stick, which I understand is only like single digit percentage of Americans that can still drive stick, but we've all become just steers in this day, high technology day and age, and now driving a car where you have to decide when you shift, et cetera, et cetera. It's a great experience, and it puts a smile on my face every day when I take that car out and sort of remember the days before all automatic, but also to not just steer a car, but to experience the car and how it works mechanically and the sounds, et cetera. It's great.
There's nothing like a car that sounds better than the sound system. So when you're driving a car where you can turn the radio off and just enjoy the sound coming from the car is always nice. When I first met you over a year ago, your wife kind of said, as you and her were putting the museum together, that if it looked like oil and smelled like gas, you didn't want it in the museum. You wanted it to be like a very comfortable art museum. And looking at the video right now and the pictures behind it, it really is. It's truly an outstanding look inside. And I'm going to give your wife full credit for that.
Well, she deserves it. She deserves it. Like I say, in addition to these wonderful cars that are works of art, we have some wonderful photographs and some artwork that was done by David Lloyd Glover, who's a watercolor artist who actually lived next to Carroll Shelby, and we have a number of his works that we've blown up and put on the wall that people can appreciate. We have cars are inanimate objects, and as beautiful as they are, I think we need something more animated. And we have videos in each of the galleries that kind of go tell about what the cars are all about in that particular gallery. And I think I sort of harken back to the Fin Car Gallery, which during I think I mentioned it during the Renaissance. Michelangelo was sponsored by the Medicis, who were a rich family that allowed him to do all those wonderful works of art. In the early 50s and 60s, there were no Medicis, but the car companies had money and hired people of artists of that quality to design and style and create these works of art that were reflective of the age. It's just kind of interesting from a historic perspective, not just to look at the cars, but look at how the age was identified and reflected in some of that styling. it's fun to see. It's fun to
Yeah,
see.
it really is. And again, you have such a variety of cars, and you have part of that that goes with it. I think it must have been kind of in the 70s kind of cars, you had that, classic Farrah Fawcett poster that every teenager at the time, probably had on their wall, and you have it prominently on display.
Right,
Yeah,
it's next to the Lamborghini Countach
yeah,
poster that they also had at the time. So
yeah,
it's, as I say, it's reflective of the age,
yeah,
and I smile on a lot of people as they
yeah.
walk in. They had that
They
poster.
had that poster, exactly, exactly. I think every teenage boy had that poster, so that was it. And the other thing is you do some events there too, like recently you had a Hoods Up event where you're not just looking at the cars, but you're able to get up a little closer and get under the hood.
Right, the engines of our cars are as beautiful as the exteriors, and it is it is interesting to see again the historical difference. We have the first car that was ever built, a replica of that Mercedes-Benz that shows how the internal combustion engine started in automobiles.
Yeah,
All the way to now our 918, which has both electric and internal combustion
yeah.
engine power. So it's interesting to see how the automobile has developed, and we have the first one and one of the last
Yeah.
out of the box, which is great fun.
Yeah, and do you still have the Izetta?
Yes.
Yeah,
I was just talking to the folks here. The two cars that get probably as much attention as some of these beautiful high-powered 900 horsepower cars is the patent, the first Mercedes, the 1887, yeah. And the Izetta, which is like a refrigerator with wheels. The doors open. Actually, it was designed by an Italian refrigerator designer, and I think he just put wheels on his latest refrigerator design.
Yeah, and I think it was about as fast as a refrigerator too.
Well, it saved BMW. They put their motorcycle engine in it, and because it looked like a three-wheel car, the taxes were a lot less after the Second World War, and I think they built 150,000 of them, or it kept BMW afloat until the early 60s and 70s.
Yeah, no, it's fun stuff, and let's get some details. The Newport Car Museum's not technically in Newport, right?
No, it's a few minutes from Newport, in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, in the Raytheon complex. As you come in on Route 24, you can see it on the right hand side if you're coming from the north, or on the left if you're coming from the south. It's a big red building that's 114,000 square feet right along the road, and we have a prominent sign. The building is bright red, so unless you drive by, you can't miss it.
Yeah, and the hours the museum is open?
Yeah, we're open 10 to 5 every day, except Thanksgiving and Christmas, I guess.
Okay.
And we have a special with AAA for Black Friday. We've had it every year, and we get quite a lot of AAA people that they usually the price to get in the museum for a regular adult ticket is $18, and for military and seniors it's $15, but and the children are $8. But that day for AAA members it's $12.
It's $12. So when my wife is shopping, I can go to the museum.
Well, I don't know about shopping this year, but as the family comes for Thanksgiving, and we start looking around and trying to find things to do to get the Uncle Harry out of talking politics and other things. You can come to the museum and social distance from him, and bring the whole family and enjoy a day of seeing some beautiful art and cars.
No, it is, and I've been to a lot of different car museums up and down the East Coast, and I've been to the Muscle Car Museum down in Florida, which is in an old Walmart building, and it's okay, and up to, one of my favorite little museums was the Wells Auto Museum when Mr. Gould owned that. And, but, it was a little dingy. It was a little dark. The cars were kind of close together because of space. But you go into your museum and it is just stunning inside.
Well, I appreciate it. We enjoy it. I really enjoy talking to the visitors. It's a very apolitical place these days where that discussion seems to happen, but not when you come in here, because it's all about the cars and not about what goes on out there, which I think is refreshing these days. One, people want to get out of the house and find some place that's safe to go, and two, where they're not bombarded with media and other stuff. And here you can listen to our music that's typed in. Most of it is old time rock and roll. So
No, it's always a great thing. And the discount for AAA members on Black Friday, that just makes it that much nicer. But even today, on what is probably a bit of a dreary, rainy day, I see a few people wandering around behind you, and people looking at everything, and people seeing cars they've just never seen before. And that's what I think truly, your cars have a really interesting variety. Even something as kind of average, wrong word to use, the Mustang. You have some very interesting Mustangs in your collection.
Yeah. Well, they're most. We have the original 64.5 Mustang convertible in Caspian blue and white interior, which I was just shocked when I saw it when it first came out. But we have the great Shelby Mustangs from
right.
65 through 68, and as I said, the Cobras and the new Ford GTs and things. We have one of the original 37 Shelby GT350Rs.
Oh, okay.
Very, 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 very rare car. And then we have its grandson, which is the 2015 GT350R, same build number. So they have a genetic connection
between the two. No, it sounds fantastic, and I really encourage people to go visit the Newport Car Museum, whether you're coming from Boston or New York or Connecticut. It's worth the drive, no matter where you're coming from. And I'm sure you have people, not just summer tourists, but I'm sure you have people that make this a true destination to come to especially feeling that they might be a little bit trapped in the house, and say, you know what, I live in Waterbury, Connecticut. Maybe hey, I'm going to go for a drive. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to spend the day, and then maybe go over to Newport and have a late lunch, and then head back home.
Yeah, we have a 300 car parking lot, so there's never any issue about parking here as it may be in Newport proper, etc.
Yeah.
So very easy to get in and very easy to get out, and it's we have a volunteer docent group that just loves cars and can help people through the museum if they have questions and things, and kind of enjoy the experience.
Yeah, well, Gunther, I want to thank you for taking some time out of your day and joining us on AAA Car Conversations with. It's just been fascinating, and the more I look at the pictures behind you, the more I want to come back.
Yeah, please do. Be happy to walk around with you. I enjoy coming here, walking through myself, and they're my car.
All the better. Thanks, Gunther.
Yeah, thanks for having me.